Welcome back to the quest, where 2 wins in today's episode and things are looking good, 2 defeats, and it looks like we're back to the drawing board. So here we are, currently sat 4th in the Croatian Premier League table, but just 4 points behind second place Dinamo Zagreb, who occupy that second Champions League qualification spot. And you can guess who we're playing today. That's right, we are taking on our Zagreb neighbours. If we were to win it, we would cut that deficit at the top of the table. It's not unthinkable that we could do that, although they beat us 4-3 in the second game of the season. We beat them 2-1 the last time we played them. We may have been a bit fortunate to be on the winning end of that result, but it gives us hope that we might be able to go out and maybe work a bit of magic today, since our last episode where we had a man sent off, and that led to us losing 2-1 to FC Copenhagen. Form has been pretty good, a 1-1 draw with Istra, but they are riding very high in the Croatian Premier League. We've got a win in Europe against Levski Sofia. We followed it up with another very tight winning margin against Luzern from Switzerland. That puts us on 6 points in our Europa Conference League group phase. We've also beaten Varaždin, beaten Hajduk Split, standard these days for us. And we've had back-to-back draws with Osijek, one in the Cup where we went on to lose on penalties, and then one in the league as well. But there is certainly no disgrace in either of those results, as Osijek are looking like they might go on and win the title. 7 points clear at the top, with a game in hand on Dinamo as well, and with a host of very good players that they can call on. They are very dangerous opponents this season. So today we're going to take on Dinamo, but we're also going to take on RC Lens as well. It's going to be the last of our games in the league phase of the Conference League. It's going to be an incredibly difficult fixture as well, but one we absolutely must win if we are to make further progress in European competition. The wins that we had against Levski and Luzern have lifted us to 6 points, where we are clinging by our fingernails to 24th place in the league, enough to qualify for the knockout games to make further progress in the Conference League. It's going to be very tough. As you can see, Lens are currently second in the table, 5 wins from 5. They've only conceded twice, so it's going to be a big ask for us to beat them, especially as we're going to be going out to France for this game, where you would think they're going to be even stronger than if we were playing them in Croatia. But if we could beat Dynamo, and if we could beat Lens, well, qualification for the Champions League is not out of the question, and further progress in Europe is going to be likely. But it could well be that we brought you back for 2 defeats, so don't say I shelter you from the disappointment that we might face in this series. But before we get to either of today's 2 fixtures, just a little plug for something I've been working on behind the scenes. May have taken me years, but I finally set up my own independent Discord server, and there are already a whole host of people in there chatting away about Football Manager, about their own saves, about football and sport in general, as well as giving me feedback on the streams that take place on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays from 1 PM UK time, and their ideas for future FM series and what they think about the quest. So if you'd like to jump into the Discord server as well, check out the video description below. There will be a link so that you can join us, and you can tell us about your own FM progress and give me feedback on how you think the quest is going. But back to matters on the field, and we've settled into life with our 5 at the back system with this diamond in midfield. It gives us a lot of protection. It's been picking up some good results. The problem we have is that we are playing a lot of games with our European commitments as well. We played against Luzern on Thursday. We're taking on Dinamo today on a Sunday. We're back out to France to take on Lens on the following Thursday. We're packing in a lot of games. It's making it impossible for us to field our strongest 11 for every fixture. So we are having to rotate. We know that when we rotate, we are getting significantly weaker. But we've got 2 big games in today's episode, and balancing out who's going to take the field against Dinamo, which is a key game domestically, and who's going to be out there against Lens, which is, of course, integral to us making progress in Europe, is a difficult balancing act. We're bringing back some of our favourites today. Camboire has been magnificent. He sat out the game against Luzern, but he's going to be playing against Dinamo. We're bringing Amaya back because Daniek is struggling for fitness. We're bringing Tuki back because Tiny Chuk is struggling with his fitness as well. And we've rotated 2 new fullbacks into the side today. We have Rankiewicz and Boshak. both come in to try and give us some impetus out wide. Hopefully, this team will be enough to pick up an unlikely result, because if they do, we can give them plenty of rest, try and get our best 11 out there against Lens, and who knows, we could pull off 2 miracle results in this episode. But let's be realistic, we've brought you back for 2 very difficult games, and it could be that we're going to show you 2 defeats, which I'm not afraid to do. You've got to see the save as it's really unfolding. If that means that we're having poor runs of form and not doing very well domestically, getting knocked out of Europe, then that's the story. And we are here to show you the story. But in this game, well, we started reasonably strongly. We've had 5 shots now. Dinamo have had just the 1. You will notice that we've made another change to our starting lineup. In goal, Hraniek is back. We took him out of the firing line for a few games. His understudy was no better equipped to put in good performances than the youngster was, so we've brought him back in now. We've got our first highlight of the game. We've waited a while for it. We're on the 36-minute mark, and it's the boys in pink, alas, not us, that are coming forward, and they've scored from a very narrow angle. And speaking of Hraniek, I'm looking towards him and thinking, could he have done better with this chance? Granted, I'm not sure his teammates have helped him out. We got played through fairly easily there, but I'm not sure you should be being beaten at your near post from that wide out. And again, I'm begging the question whether in the summer we just need to admit that maybe Hraniek is not going to develop into the keeper that we hoped he would, and we have to invest in a more solid number 1. Hraniek's error has led us to be behind at the break. So into the second period, nobody played disastrously in that first half, but neither did anybody play particularly well. And we told the boys at half-time that, well, they've disgraced themselves and me and the club and their family and the nation. And hopefully that will pick them up for the second half. Flares have been let off into the stands. I'm not sure why. We've just kicked off the second half and nothing's happened yet. But we are in possession of the ball for this highlight. Here's Reyes, the Chilean midfielder who pulls the strings. Tucci is in. He was offside. He struck a post anyway. But at least now we've shown that we are in this tie. We've had 9 shots. We've not troubled the goalkeeper with any of them yet. We've raced all the way through to 63 minutes. Some of the players are tiring because they've had a lot of games recently. Let's freshen things up and push for an equaliser. Okay, no fewer than 4 new players have entered the fray. If we lose this game and they've got an XG of 0.15, I am going to be very disappointed. We've pinned them in with a throw-in back in their own defensive third, but they've managed to play out of that quite effectively. They've just strolled past our man in midfield. Perhaps another one who is tiring. He's been beaten twice. It's the same player, and they've crossed it in. And Hraniek has done what Hraniek does. He's come for a ball. He's only 5'1". He's flapped at it. He's dropped it at the feet of the attacking player. And now we're 2-0 down in a game where I think we should be at level at the very least. I'm not sure his 2 centre-halves did him a lot of favours there, crowding him out as he came for it. But maybe that's his poor communication coming to the fore. And I think this game is gone. Okay, our final substitution is made. The match stats have certainly swung in their favour since Coman gave them that second goal. 2 shots on target during the entire 90 minutes from 12 efforts on goal really isn't that impressive. And if we're going to have a successful episode, we're pinning all our hopes on Europe, because in the domestic game, well, we got Hraniek. Okay, after about 15 recovery sessions in just 3 days, we are putting almost our strongest team out onto the pitch, I think. The big player that we are missing is Babania, who is struggling with an injury. They're likely to be out for another few days yet. A big miss for us. They're probably our most consistent performer. We've got Daniek back for today, though. We've got Chuk back for today. And I think we can also bring in what I think are our strongest 2 fullbacks, Samardzic and Milicevic. And Milicevic in particular really can deliver some devilish balls there from the left flank. And today, Tiny Chuk is going to be the player that tries to get on the end of them. I think he's drinking in Last Chance Saloon, this young man. Unless he has an electrifying finish to the season, I think we could be waving the Chuk goodbye. If we lose in today's game, well, I think we're ambling through towards the end of this campaign with no European football to continue with and struggling to make the Champions League. I think qualifying for the Conference League for a second season running might be as best that we could hope for. But if we could beat Lens, then the dream would continue. It's going to be a big ask. This team have been unstoppable so far in the Conference League this season. You've got to imagine that playing in the French top flight, they have significantly better budgets than us. They've able to recruit much stronger players than we have. And today, it's going to be a real test for our young charges, but you never know. Sometimes when you suffer disappointment domestically in Football Manager, the game just takes pity on you when you come to continental competition. And that's something we're looking for today as we have a highlight inside the opening 2 minutes and we've got possession of the ball. Here is our right back, Samardzic. We've changed goalkeeper, you will note. Subaric, all is forgiven. Comes in from the cold. Hraniek, well, he sits on the bench while he has a think about what he did during the last game. And we're playing some lovely football. And here is the aforementioned Milicevic. I said he might put in some devilish delivery from the left. He did. And who misses the chance? I think it was Tiny Chuk that was in there. I stand to be corrected on that. Reyes from the corner brings the ball down, gives it back to Chuk. We've got players in the box that could have let a shot go, but it was centre halves and they were reticent to do so. And so instead, we bounce into another highlight. Samba in goal for Lens still. Plays the ball out from the back and now they are looking to patiently build up through the midfield third. They've got the ball that they've tried to spring behind our defence. We're wise to it. We give it back to Subaric and now we try and build through the midfield. It's gone to the right back again. He's fed Daniek. Now we've got Campwala, Reyes, who can pull the strings with that good passing. And here is Chuk. And he wants to fight for that shirt. He's heard rumours that I'm thinking about moving him on. And there he is in action. Playing as a pressing forward this evening. He is on to that chance like an excitable squirrel. Look at him just rutting around, hunting for nuts. And there he's found one. He carries it back off to his tree, buries it, and he's ready to go again. 3 shots, 1 on target, and that one has led to a goal. And this could mean that we qualify for the next stages. We're up to the lofty heights of 17th now if this result holds. Lens haven't been able to muster a shot so far this game. We've not exactly had many ourselves, but the one that we did get on target has been tucked away by Chuk. And now we're heading towards half-time in a very quiet game. But if it remains that way for the rest of the fixture, I would not be too disappointed. 5 shots, 1 on target, only 1 for our opponents. And we're doing well from the first half. The player to keep our eye on in this second half is Daniek. He went in at half-time on a 6.5. He's come out and, well, almost immediately dropped to a 6.4. And's looking like he might be quite tired as well. Lens have had a couple of shots at the start of the second half. We've done absolutely nothing. I was about to make our first substitutions of the game, but Lens are coming forward on the hour mark. They've got Batu Bin Sika at the heart of the defence. He's played the ball forward. They've got it into their midfield. Couldn't quite catch that player's name, but it looked like Poirot trying to solve the crimes in there. John Dole Thomas and on to Darami. And if only I'd have got those subs on earlier. Is VAR going to save us? Was that offside? It didn't look it to me. And the goal has been awarded and a draw is not going to be enough, I don't think, to qualify us for the next round. So we're going to have to try and push for a winner. We've done nothing really since we scored after, 8 or 9 minutes. Now the game is back all square. We're going to have to get substitutions onto the pitch. And we go again. Okay, we've brought 3 substitutes onto the field. You can't quite see here, but in the league, even a draw might be enough. We're on 22nd place in the table now. If we were to lose, well, then we would certainly drop out of these. But a point might just be enough. You never know. It's very tense. It's very nervy. And we've got some very tired players out there. We're going to make a change at right back. We're also going to make a change. Well, we could take Big Willie off. He's tired. Ivan Milicevic looks like he could be subbed. Tuk is tiring up front. Cami Reyes in the midfield is struggling as well. We don't have great options from the bench. I think the one we're going to do is to go up front and maybe Nezovic with that energy and that pace at the top end of the pitch might just be able to get on the end of another chance. Or is it going to be heartbreak late on? 85 minutes on the clock. and they are playing it around at the back. Here is Poirot in the midfield. I think it's actually Pruvo. Batu Bin Sika has the ball down the right. They've escaped behind our defence. They've got men in the area. And Jon Dahl Tomasson has scored for them, and I think it's going to be the ultimate disappointment this episode. We've done well in both games. We've just been beaten because of ruthlessness from our opponents and profligacy from us. We've got plenty of defenders around the ball there that could have cleared it. Instead, it's run all the way across the area, and they've tapped it in at the far post to try and combat that. We're going to go attacking. We're going to ask some of our other players to play with a little bit more attacking impetus as well. We're even going to move two of our players up front. One of them is going to be Kierkegaard. We're going to play with twin advanced forwards, I think. And we're also going to try and play with more tempo, more directness, and we're going to play with extra width as well. Let's see whether we can find an unlikely equaliser, but time is against us, and so are the highlights, as Lens have a corner late in the game, and it's been slotted home, and we're going down 3-1, and we're whimpering out of European competition. I think after that defeat to Dinamo, we're going to find it very difficult to finish higher than third in the league this season, and what started as a season of promise is looking like one where we're going to miss out on qualification for the next phase on goal difference. And there we have it, one solitary goal, and I think the damage was done not tonight necessarily, but in those early games when we lost against teams that I was earmarking wins against, such as the Latvians RFS, and we ended up losing that game. This is going to make it a very challenging proposition for us. It means that we are now going to fast forward to the end of the season. Who knows if we have a very good end to the campaign? Champions League football is not out of the realms of possibility. But let's be honest, it's not all upward trajectory in the quest. This has been a season where we've really struggled.